Well, the Lake Forest College men's hockey team earned their second sweep of the season this past weekend, a 6-0 win over Adrian on Friday night, and then a 4-1 win over Trine on Saturday night. With just 8 games remaining in the regular season, they sit atop of the NCHA with a total of 14 points, a 6-2-2 record overall in conference play. Marion and Lawrence come to town this weekend, and we'll preview the upcoming series and talk about last weekend in this week's episode of Inside Forester Hockey. Coach, we always talk about St. Norbert and Adrian being top of the NCHA, and you guys have played both teams now in the last 2 weeks. A 1-1 tie against St. Norbert 2 weeks ago, and then that 6-0 win over Adrian on Friday. Those were 2 huge wins for this program.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys have been playing well the last couple of weekends, and for us over the last few years, we've talked a lot about trying to take that next step from good to great, and you look at 2 teams that are traditionally at the top of the NCHA, and top teams nationally year after year. I mean, I think it's, it's good for the guys, happy for them, to get a tie and then get a win. NCHA points are always so valuable. So, we'll take the positives out of them and look ahead to this weekend.
Well, on Friday night, 6 goals scored for the Foresters. 3 of them came on special teams, and 2 of them were shorthanded. You guys also had a shorthanded tally on Saturday night. You're 6th of the season. That's 4th most in the Division III hockey landscape. What's been allowing you guys to get offensive chances despite being down a man?
Yeah, I mean, I think first it starts with hard work. Obviously PK guys, have to be extremely hardworking, and I think sometimes you get some bounces that go your way, but it all starts with that effort. And I mean, a couple of those shorthanded goals are, I think it came on empty nets the last few weeks. So, but it's not to take anything away. I mean, PK guys have been working really hard. You don't expect to get offensive chances, out of it, but I think when you have a good plan and guys know where they're supposed to be and can kind of read and anticipate, sometimes that lends itself to getting a few more chances on the kill.
Well, you guys watched a lot of video on Adrian this past week, especially on their special team units. Their power play came in ranked 7th in the country. You guys held them 0 for 5 on the power play. Talk about that pre-scout you guys did on Adrian, how that benefited you guys on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I think each week we try to, have a pre-scout prepared for the guys and just give them information that we think is important, and an idea what teams might do. And for Adrian, obviously, extremely skilled offensive team. And, they do some things on the power play that we hadn't seen yet this year. So, especially with school not being in session right now, thought, we take advantage of some of that extra time and really try to prepare the guys for what they may see and how we want to react. But at the same time, you're really building on, habits and details that hopefully, you've been working on all year to kind of lead up to that point.
Well, 2 weeks ago, the Foresters tied St. Norbert on the road 1-1, and then they had to play Finlandia on Saturday. It was almost like deja vu this weekend. You guys had a big game on Friday, a 6-0 win over Adrian, but it seems like you guys collected yourselves, regathered yourselves, and went into the game Saturday, putting the game on Friday in the past, and were able to come out with that 4-1 win on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the previous weekend was definitely a good learning experience for us. We weren't thrilled with our effort against Finlandia, and that's nothing to take away from them. I mean, they're a really good team that competes extremely hard, and but I think we had a little bit more of that letdown last weekend, and in this past weekend we were able to kind of bring that same level of effort and intensity, I thought, for most of the game on Saturday. And, I think the guys saw how close it was, having to win that Finlandia game in OT. And at the end of the day, no matter who you're playing in conference, those 2 points are huge. So I think the guys had a good focus and, also took advantage of playing at home.
Well, on Friday night, there was a couple big individual performances. Mark Dermanelli, and he had 2 goals. Troy Nelson, a goal and 2 assists. Josh Jackman, Ryan Kruss, both with a goal and an assist. And then Josh had 2 goals on Saturday night. The offensive production for the freshmen starting to pick up a little bit here in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great efforts from a bunch of different guys this weekend, and I think for Josh it was, I won't say you could see it coming, but certainly here in the second half he's been making a lot of really good plays, a lot of good decisions, and I think as a coaching staff we knew that he had that offensive output in him. It was just I think a matter of him gaining some confidence and getting a little more comfortable, and when you start stringing together multiple games where you're making good decisions, you're having a positive impact, I think you start to feel confident in yourself, and it definitely showed in him this weekend.
Well, the Foresters going to be on home ice once again here this weekend. Marion on Friday night at 7:30, and then Lawrence on Saturday at 4:30. Well, you guys played Marion earlier in the season, first week in November. You guys fell 2-1, but since then you guys are 6-0-1 in your last 7 NCHA games. What did you guys learn from that loss, and how did you move forward after that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at that game in particular in the first half, I don't know if we were prepared to play for a full 60 minutes. I mean, I think our effort was kind of up and down that game, and they get on the board fairly early, and playing up there on that Olympic sheet, sometimes it can be tough to generate offense. So, I think that next day you just saw, I think our guys more hungry, and realizing that you don't want to fall too far down the standings, in conference early in the year. So, I think just working throughout the first half to have a more consistent effort, and I also know Marion's a really, I'd say, disciplined, good defensive team that doesn't give up a whole lot. So, we're going to have to work extremely hard to generate scoring chances this Friday.
Well, Lawrence on Saturday, too. You guys saw them after that Marion game and took them down 8-1. They just have 2 conference wins this season, but they're always tough and physical, especially to play here on the smaller ice sheet at Lake Forest.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think in a lot of ways our rink lends itself well to their team, the way they want to play. So, it'll be really important, obviously after a big game on Friday, for our guys to be prepared for that type of game on Saturday, and a lot of times when you're playing physical teams that, like to be in your face, it's really, it's more a mental thing than anything where you have to be ready from the drop of the puck, because, if you're not, things can get ugly in a hurry. So, I think both games this weekend expect to be extremely competitive, and anytime there's conference points, I know I keep saying it, but, the games are really important, so.
Well, 2 teams from the North Division come to town this weekend. Marion sits atop of the North Division. That's on Friday at 7:30, and then Lawrence on Saturday at 4:30. Be sure to come out to Alumni Memorial Fieldhouse and check out the Foresters, or stream online at goforesters.com.